The air around Heartland feels heavy, like the moment before a summer storm. Ty's jaw is tight, Amy's eyes are shining with hurt and anger, and little Lyndy is standing between them, hands shaking but face brave. Across from them, Nathan tries to smile like nothing is wrong, but everyone knows this is the moment everything changes. A line has been crossed. A secret is about to come out. And once the words are spoken, there is no going back for anyone at Heartland. That morning starts like any other day at the ranch, but something feels off from the very first step Ty takes out onto the porch. The sky is clear, the fields stretch wide and quiet, and yet his chest feels tight. He hears Spartan's soft snort from the paddock and, without even thinking, his feet carry him there first. When he reaches the fence, Spartan's ears flick toward him, and Ty notices it right away. The gelding is shifting his weight, just a little too careful on one front leg. Ty narrows his eyes and watches closely as Spartan walks a few slow steps. There is a tiny hitch, a small limp, but to a man who has seen too many hurt animals, it stands out like a red flag. Ty steps into the paddock and runs a hand down Spartan's neck, speaking softly to him to keep him calm. His fingers move down the leg, pressing gently, feeling for heat, for swelling, for pain. Spartan flinches at one spot, and Ty's heart clenches. This isn't just a tired horse after a light ride. Someone pushed him too far. Someone who did not know or did not care where the limit was. As Ty straightens up, a name sits on the tip of his tongue like a bad taste. Nathan. Inside the house, Amy is at the kitchen table with her laptop open, a mug of coffee forgotten beside her. Her eyes are fixed on her screen, not with the relaxed focus she usually has when planning training sessions, but with a frown that digs a small line between her brows. Her phone buzzes again and again, each new notification making her shoulders climb a little higher. When Ty walks in, wiping dust from his hands, he pauses for a moment, just watching her. This is not how she should look at Heartland. This is not the peace they have fought so hard to protect. What's going on? He asks, moving closer. Amy sighs and turns the screen so he can see. A client's message fills the page. The woman thanks Amy for the previous lesson, but then says something that makes Ty's blood boil. She says Nathan contacted her after the session, saying Amy is to soft and that he could offer more serious training for the same horse. The words blur in Ty's vision as anger rises. It is not just rude. It is not just unprofessional. It is a direct attack on Amy's work, on her heart. Amy's voice is small but steady. This is the third message like this, she admits. He keeps talking to my clients when I'm not around. He tells them what I should be doing. And now he's offering his own services, like I need his help to run my own business. Ty feels his jaw clench the same way it did in the paddock. Did he touch Spartan? He asks quietly. Because Spartan is not right this morning, Amy looks up sharply, and in that second, the worrying in her eyes changes. It is no longer just about clients, about pride, or about stepping on toes. It becomes something deeper, sharper, something that hits her right in the chest. Her mind jumps back to the demo ride the day before. When Nathan had been so eager to show what Spartan can really do, she had been distracted with another horse, trusting him for a few minutes longer than she should have. Now that trust feels like a mistake. Before either of them can say another word, there is the soft shuffle of feet on the stairs. Lyndy appears in the doorway, hair messy, hugging her favorite worn-out plush horse to her chest. Her eyes are wide, as if she has been listening longer than they realized. She doesn't say anything at first. She just stands there looking from Ty to Amy, reading the tension in the room the way kids always do, even when adults think they are hiding it. Amy softens her voice. Hey, honey. You're up early. Lyndy hesitates, then moves closer. She pulls out a chair and sits down slowly, still holding the toy, fingers twisting its tail. For a moment she seems like she might change the subject, talk about breakfast or school. But instead, she looks straight at her parents and asks, "Are you talking about Nathan?" The room goes even quieter. Ty and Amy exchange a look. They hadn't said his name out loud yet, but somehow it was already there, hanging over them like a cloud. Why do you ask? Ty says gently, forcing his voice to stay calm. Lyndy bites her lip. Because she starts, then stops. Her eyes fill with a mix of fear and guilt, as if she has been holding something inside and is scared to let it out. Because I saw him with Spartan yesterday, and I think I did something wrong. Amy's chair scrapes as she moves closer to her daughter, reaching for her hand. You didn't do anything wrong, sweetie, she says right away. If something happened, we just need to know. That's all. Lyndy looks down at her toy, then back up at them. There it is again, that heavy feeling in the air, like the sky is about to change. The truth is coming, and with it, the first crack in the fragile peace around Heartland. Thought the wind moves slowly over the fields that afternoon, but inside Heartland, everything feels tight and restless. After Lyndy's trembling confession, Ty and Amy step outside for a breath of air, but even the open sky does nothing to ease the pressure building in their chests. Amy wraps her arms around herself as if trying to hold the pieces of the day together. Ty stands beside her, fists opening and closing at his sides, the way he does when he is trying very hard not to explode. The truth Lyndy shared sits heavy between them, unfinished, waiting to be revealed fully, and both of them know there is more their daughter did not manage to say yet. Children hold fear in strange places, tiny folds of memory. Quick flashes of sound or anger, and Amy can feel there is something Lyndy is still afraid to voice. Ty looks out over the paddock again, as if Spartan's calm presence could guide him. But even Spartan's breathing feels too quiet, too fragile. His limp is small but undeniable, and it keeps replaying in Ty's mind like a warning. Amy can see it in his tense shoulders. He's already imagining the worst. Ty has always been protective, but when it comes to his family, the instinct becomes something almost fierce, like a storm trying to hold itself together. Amy steps closer, placing a hand on his arm, grounding him the way she always has. We'll figure this out, she says softly, though the words taste shaky even to her dot inside. Lyndy sits at the kitchen table alone now, staring at the wooden patterns in the surface like they're telling her secrets. Her small fingers trace the lines again and again, and she whispers something only she can hear, tiny fragments of yesterday, bits of memory she's trying to fit into the right shape. She remembers Spartan's startled snort, the uneven landing, the sharp pound of Nathan's voice snapping at her to stay back. She remembers feeling scared, but not wanting to cry, not wanting to upset anyone. Children often think silence protects the grown-ups they love. But today, that silence finally cracked out when Amy returns inside. She finds Lyndy looking smaller than she has in years. She sits next to her daughter and waits quietly. Lyndy lifts her eyes slowly, and there's a deep breath, the kind kids take when they are about to tell the truth even though it scares them. He told Spartan to jump higher, Lyndy says in a voice so soft Amy has to lean in to hear it. And Spartan didn't want to. I could see it. He kept shaking his head. But Nathan kept pushing him forward. Amy closes her eyes for a moment, pain tightening her throat. She can picture the scene too clearly. A horse pushed beyond comfort. A man who wanted to show off more than he wanted to listen. She opens her eyes again, setting herself. What did you do, sweetheart? She whispers gently. Lyndy swallows hard. I tried to tell him to stop. I told him Spartan didn't like it. Her little hands twist anxiously in her lap. But he glared at me. He said I was interrupting, that I didn't know anything. The last sentence comes out cracked, and tears slip down her cheeks despite her effort to stay strong. Amy pulls her into a hug, holding her close and rubbing slow circles on her back. He should never have said that to you, never. Her voice shakes with anger and heartbreak. No one has the right to speak to her child that way, especially not here. In the one place Lyndy should always feel safe. Ty steps back inside just in time to hear those last words, and his expression changes. Not loud, not wild, those emotions are too easy. What appears on his face is something deeper, sharper, the kind of silent anger that comes from feeling someone has targeted his family. For a moment he just stands there, taking in the sight of Amy holding Lyndy, the fear still fresh on their young daughter's cheeks. And in that moment, any hesitation vanishes. He knows with absolute clarity that this can't be ignored, can't be eased over with polite conversation or professional boundaries. Nathan crossed a line Ty will not allow anyone to cross again. Amy meets his eyes over Lyndy's shoulder. She doesn't say anything, but she doesn't need to. The decision is made in that silent look between them. The confrontation they've been trying to avoid is now unavoidable. It won't wait until tomorrow. It won't wait until they have cooled down. There is too much at risk. Spartan's trust, Amy's work, Lyndy's safety. All of it sits on one fragile moment that is about to break open. Outside, the sky shifts subtly, clouds forming in thin streaks across the blue. It is still bright, still calm, but something in the air feels different, like the slow inhale before. The hours pass slowly, like the day is holding its breath, waiting for the moment everything finally breaks open. Ty moves around the yard with a restless energy he can't hide. Every step he takes feels too heavy, every breath too sharp, as if the world itself is pushing him toward the confrontation he knows is coming. Amy stays close to Lyndy for most of the afternoon, keeping her busy with small tasks, gentle conversations, and soft reassurances. But even as she smiles for her daughter, her mind stays locked on one thought. Nathan is not done with them. And they are not done with him. By late afternoon, the sunlight has shifted into warm gold, stretching long shadows across the dirt paths. Heartland looks peaceful on the outside, but something is stirring beneath the surface. The horses are restless, tossing their heads or pacing their stalls. Even the dogs bark at small sounds they usually ignore. Animals always sense tension before people do. And today the ranch feels like it is humming with unspoken warnings. Amy steps outside to check on Spartan again, watching him move carefully across the paddock. He is calm, but the tiny limp is still there, like a reminder she cannot ignore. She leans on the fence and lets out a long breath, trying to find clarity. Spartan has been through so much before he trusts her, listens to her, and she has always promised him safety. But yesterday, for a few minutes that stretched too long, she let someone else take the reins. And now she feels that mistake like a bruise on her heart. As she stands there lost in thought, Ty approaches quietly, his footsteps crunching on the gravel. He's still off, he says, reading her mind the way he always does. Amy nods, eyes on Spartan's gentle stride. Lyndy said Nathan forced the jump. She whispers, voice tight. Spartan wasn't ready for it. Not physically, not mentally. He pushed him because he wanted to look impressive. The anger that flashes across Ty's face is quick but sharp. And he scared our daughter doing it. His voice is low, steady, but every word is edged with something fierce. Amy looks up at him, and for a moment, they both stand in silence, staring at the horse who trusted them and the sky that seems to darken by the minute. A sudden gust of wind sweeps across the yard, kicking up dust and sending a few loose leaves spinning through the air. Amy's hair lifts in the breeze, and she feels the shift deep in her chest. It's not just weather. Something is coming. Something they cannot avoid, no matter how much they wish things had turned out differently. Inside the house, Lyndy watches them through the window. She hugs her plush toy close, wishing she could rewind the day everything changed. She wishes she had spoken up sooner, or louder, or with less fear. But she is just a child, and no child should carry the weight of keeping adults safe from each other. She sees her parents talking outside, their faces serious, and her stomach twists. She knows this isn't over. She knows Nathan will come back, because he never lets things go. And that scares her more than anything. Amy and Ty return inside, closing the door gently behind them. They sit with Lyndy, trying to ease her worrying with calm voices and warm hugs. Amy runs her fingers through her daughter's hair while Ty sits on the edge of the couch, leaning forward with his elbows on his knees. His phone buzzes twice in his pocket, but he ignores it. His focus is on his family, on the small circle of space where all their worlds meet. When they finally stand up to make dinner, the sound of an approaching truck echoes faintly in the distance. It's distant at first, just a low hum rolling across the fields. But Ty hears it right away. His back straightens. His eyes flick toward the window. Amy hears it too, and her breath catches. There is only one person who drives like that too fast on the dirt road, too confident on land that's not his. The sound grows louder, moving closer, until the dust begins to rise behind the fence line. Lyndy goes still as a statue, her hands tightening around her toy. She doesn't need to look. She knows that Ty walks to the window and sees the truck turning up the long road toward the house. The front tires kick up small stones. The engine revs a little too hard, and the dust trail behind it looks like a warning signal. Amy steps beside him, her jaw tightening as she watches the vehicle pull closer and closer. He's here, Ty says, the words quiet but firm. Amy nods once. Then let's finish this, Lyndy swallows, stepping back as the truck slows to a stop. She looks up at her parents, fear flickering in her eyes. Do you have to talk to him now? Amy kneels in front of her and cups her small face gently. Yes, sweetheart. Because the truth can't hide forever. And you were brave enough to tell it. Ty places a hand on Lyndy's shoulder. You're safe. We won't let anything happen. Outside, Nathan's truck door slams shut, the sound echoing across the yard like the first crack of thunder before a storm. Heartland is no longer holding its breath. It is about to speak that Nathan takes slow, confident steps toward the house, as if he owns the ground he's walking on. His boots crunch against the gravel with an almost careless rhythm. He lifts his chin like he's arriving for a friendly visit, but the false smile on his face doesn't reach his eyes. That smile makes Amy's stomach twist. Ty watches Nathan approach with a stillness so sharp it feels dangerous. He isn't shouting, isn't pacing, isn't clenching his fists, but the calm around him is the kind of calm that comes right before something powerful breaks loose. Nathan stops a few feet away, hands in his pockets, pretending nothing is wrong. Hey, he says lightly, like he hasn't left a trail of fear and injury behind him. I thought I'd swing by, see how Spartan's doing after yesterday. He seemed a bit stiff. Ty steps forward, blocking the view of the house behind him. His voice is steady, almost too steady. Spartan isn't stiff. He's hurt. Nathan blinks, surprise flashing across his face for a moment, then smooths over into a shrug. Horses stumble. It happens. Ty doesn't react to the excuses. Tell me exactly what you did yesterday. Nathan laughs under his breath, shaking his head. Come on, Ty. Don't be dramatic. Spartan's fine. If anything, you're just being overprotective. Amy moves forward now, standing beside Ty. She's shaking slightly, not from fear, but from holding in too much emotion for too long. I don't care what you think about our parenting or our training methods, she says, her voice thin but strong. Spartan is my horse. I know him better than anyone. And you pushed him past his limit. Why? Nathan tilts his head, trying to look innocent. I was helping. That's what you brought me here for, right? Extra hands. A second opinion. Amy shakes her head firmly. No, I brought you in to learn. To help with simple tasks. Not to take over. Not to show off. And not to scare my daughter. The mention of Lyndy's name pulls Nathan's eyes away. His jaw tightens for a split second, a glimpse of something harder, something sharper. I didn't scare her, he says quickly. Kids exaggerate. You know how they are. This time it's Ty who steps closer. So close Nathan has to step back. She told us everything. And she doesn't lie. She doesn't exaggerate. You yelled at her. You dismissed her. You made her feel small in her own home. Nathan waves the comment off, but there's tension in his shoulders now. She shouldn't have been in the way. I was busy working with the horse. If she got upset, that's on her. Amy's voice cracks just slightly with fury. A child tried to protect a horse who was struggling. You should have listened. Instead, you pushed Spartan harder. You forced a jump he wasn't ready for. Nathan's face tightens. He looks away just for a second, and that single moment of hesitation betrays him. I thought he could handle it, he mutters. I was just trying to prove. Ty cuts in sharply. Prove what? Nathan's mouth opens, then closes. His eyes flick toward the barn, then toward the hills behind the ranch, anywhere but Ty's face. Something bitter stirs in his expression. You two act like you're the only ones who understand horses. Like you're untouchable, perfect. I wanted you to see I can do more. That I'm not just some kid you boss around, Amy's breath catches. The truth behind his behavior finally appears, and it's uglier than she expected. You wanted to show off, not help. Not lured. Nathan doesn't deny it. His silence is enough. Ty's voice lowers into something cold and unshakable. You hurt my horse. You scared my daughter. And you disrespected my wife. That ends today. Nathan stiffens. So what? You're firing me. You were never hired, Ty replies. You were a guest we trusted. That trust is gone. Nathan's face darkens quickly, like a shadow crossing the sun. You're making a mistake, he says quietly. Both of you. Amy steps closer, her voice steady despite the tremble in her hands. No, the mistake was letting you get this far. Behind the window, Lyndy watches with wide eyes, her small hands pressed against the glass. She doesn't hear every word, but she sees the shapes of anger and truth moving through the air. She sees her parents standing tall, standing firm, standing together. And something inside her begins to loosen the knot of fear that's been pulling at her since yesterday. Nathan glances toward the house and freezes when he sees Lyndy watching. For a brief moment, guilt flickers in his eyes, thin and fragile. But it disappears just as quickly, smothered by something else: resentment, pride, frustration. He huffs out a breath, steps back, and mutters, "Fine, if you want me gone, I'll go." But then he adds, almost under his breath, "This isn't over." Ty doesn't move. "It is for you." Nathan stares at them for a long moment, jaw clenched, then turns sharply and heads toward his truck. The door slams loud enough.